Hi everyone. So today we have someone who is known for their 20 plus years of experience in product development, product management, marketing, strategy, and financial planning. He has worked for some of the top companies, especially Fortune 500 companies. Let's welcome Amar on 10 minutes of hiring wisdom. Hi Amar, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for joining us, Amar. It's really a pleasure.
Thank you.
So
Thank
Amar, can you tell us about your company as in like we know you founded this company, so can you tell us a little more about your company?
Okay. So I'm the co-founder. I'm the founder and CEO of OneDPO. We are a privacy engineering company. So what we do is companies have piled data over years, right? From enterprise data from different parts like customers, employees, all kind of data inside enterprise. Now it is much becoming much harder to protect the data from breaches, protect the data from privacy violations. Regulations also growing, threats are growing. We help companies identify where their risks are and how we help them how to manage their risk, reduce their risk, and address the issues. So we help
Okay.
companies protect their data.
Okay, so as in like there are a lot of cybersecurity companies that help with like breaching of data, just like invasion of privacy and everything. What makes your company specifically different compared to other companies that are out there?
Okay. So we take a very data centric approach, right? We are looking at data and we are looking at not just data. Most companies just analyze, hey, what data you have. We look at what data you have, who is using it, and who has access to it. Once
Okay,
we combine this, we can do some interesting things, right? 80 to 90% of data inside the organization, nobody's using it. Why do you have?
okay,
You can archive it, reduce your risk. So only we can tell it because we can connect data with activities and control.
okay,
Similarly, 90 to almost 100% of the employees carry too much access than they need. Another big risk, yeah, potential violation waiting to happen. So we identify those kind of risk areas, right?
okay.
So
So
it's
that makes
not,
sense.
yeah, it's not like looking at data and giving you a laundry list of here's what data you have that many companies can do. We
Yeah.
go deeper and say, here are your areas where you can reduce risk.
So you connect all the dots
Exactly.
regarding the employees and everything and making sure that no one can violate the privacy. Okay, I can see that.
Exactly.
I can
Yeah.
definitely see the personal and customer centric approach that you guys take. So, Mark, can you tell us about how your company has been doing, especially with the pandemic and everything? Was it a setback for you? Did you guys grow? Have you guys gone remote? Are you working hybrid? Like, what's the situation within your company right now?
So we are, of course, working remotely. We tried different approaches. So we have improvising. So initially, when we all became remote, it was a shocker, right? Because everybody has to step up. We one thing that forced us to do is adapt some really good systems within this organization, like how you write a spec, right? How a feature. How do you build the development? Or what is a Scrum call looks like? So many tools came into the company. We were more ad hoc. We go to the whiteboard and start planning. That went away and we became more structured. The where we had problems, we had problems in meeting customers. We were relying a lot more on events, personal events, like small community events like security group, privacy group, just meeting people there. Those kind of personal connection, those things are gone now, right? Everything moved to virtual. Virtual is not the same because
Yeah.
before and after the meeting is most of the value you get from, right? Interacting, networking. So that went away. So we had to improvise there, but the team did very well, right? We had been growing. We see a lot more interest. The demand is still there. The market is still growing. Those things are good things. From a smaller company, it is much harder to operate in this environment. If you're a big company, we had an established team that's very different. People know each other.
Yeah.
Now in this remote, building the relationship, right? So we live and die with the culture we build, right? We are a small startup, right? So that's where we focus most of our effort. How to maintain the culture, how to make sure people are connected, working as a team instead of island, right? That's where bulk of my worry or my mind share when it
That
comes
makes
to
sense.
team. Yeah,
And that makes sense, especially mission driven companies. When you have a strong purpose, you can bring together people from different backgrounds and make sure that they work towards a bigger
exactly.
cause. So I can see how a small team like yours specifically worked together because they knew that they were working for something bigger, which
Exactly.
is against like cybersecurity crimes. So hats off to you guys for working like that.
Thank you.
So, Amar, can you tell us regarding whether you guys are hiring? Are you into global hiring, like, or do you prefer your team like within the US? Because a lot of engineering companies, specifically, or cybersecurity companies, tend to offshore. So, are you into that? Like, what exactly is your take on
So
that?
we have a team in Bangalore. We don't, I don't, offshoring is hard for a small startup. So we have a team
Hmm.
in Bangalore, and I'm building a team in US. We have both. It's owned and operated. So I was in India last year most of the time. I just came to US again just last weekend. I came to US. So I go back and forth between India and US building the team. So in terms of hiring, we are looking to hire sales and marketing in US and definitely engineering talent continuously in India, but mostly in-house, right? We are not outsourcing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I'm sorry about this. And like I've read so much regarding the condition of the COVID in India and everything. I hope your family and everyone is safe back home, especially if they are in
Yeah,
India.
I mean, things are dynamic and it's changing every day. So, for
Yeah,
example, in March, we were planning to come to office in April. We even opened an office in April. People
yeah,
started coming in. Then again, last weekend, we all went back to remote again, right?
yeah.
So things are changing. It's dynamic. We hope everybody says stay safe and get through this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's been one hard year. Whenever we think it's over, something else happens. A new strain comes up, and you're just like, okay, I
We
thought it was going to get over.
we have to learn to live with it. That's what it's.
We have, yeah. I think as in like the companies that learn to adapt and continuously iterate and like improve their processes are the companies that actually are doing really well because they knew that they didn't
Yeah.
really have they couldn't just sit back and do nothing. So I guess I can definitely see
Yeah.
that. So as in like you're hiring for some engineering roles, you're hiring for marketing roles, but can you maybe go and describe a little about your organizational culture? Like what kind of people are you looking for?
So one,
Like in terms of personalities.
so
Sorry, go ahead.
definitely. I mean, this is a very good question, right? One thing we look for is yeah, ownership, right? Some two, even you're a startup, nothing will be clearly defined. The market is changing. You are also adapting, right? How do you deal with ambiguity, and how you take ownership, right? So if
Mhm.
somebody's some work is assigned to you, do you take the full ownership? You go deep, understand, analyze, make uh, make a structure out of unstructured, right? It is out there. That is one thing we really look for, right? Any candidate we hire. So we have hired people from other startups, experiences, big companies across the board. We do not have a specific, yeah, we had to come from a startup or things. But what we have seen typically is people who worked in some kind of an unstructured environment do well in startups, right? That's what we have seen. So engineering talent, from a technology standpoint, the application we have full stack, like based on our standard JavaScript stack. Backend is Python, AI, and Python, and we have many connectors to big data environments, data lakes and big data environments. So those are the different tech stack we work on. So sales and marketing, we are just started writing the spec, what type of talent we need and we are looking for. But this primary ownership and dealing with ambiguity doesn't change. That's still going to be
Yeah.
marketing too. But in terms of what and how, we are still figuring it out.
That makes sense, especially because I think we don't know how long we're going to be in remote. You need people who could take ownership when they're at
Yeah.
home without having someone to constantly micromanage them and tell them what to
And
do.
it's also not fun for everybody to micromanage. That's what I tell
Yeah,
the team, because nobody has the time, right? We are already a small team. I rather focus on customer, building a product, building a team culture, rather than checking on people, have you done their work, right? So
yeah,
that's where, startups versus big companies, we have different approaches, but we tend to have more independence because that's what we come from, a startup, right?
yeah.
You have to see the action. You are in the front row. You are dealing with all the struggle. That people love that. Though it sounds painful, people love that. That's the reason they are in a startup, right? So
That's very
self
true.
select to us. So yeah,
Well, that's very true. So if anyone reaches out to me for full stack marketing or anything along those lines, I'll
absolutely,
forward them to you,
yeah,
Omar.
absolutely.
And especially if they take ownership, I think that would be a good start for us. Well, thank you so much, Omar. It was definitely lovely learning from you, and our time is up. Thank you so much for coming on as a guest.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Of
Bye.
course.